Signature Television, and we're live with Chigachi in Port Harcourt. We're still counting the gains and the losses of the protests. Chigachi, many thanks for joining us. I mean, the first question would be what's going on in Port Harcourt as at this morning, because we understand that only yesterday protesters were around Ekeh's house. I'm sure that Ekeh would have held his mouth on his chest, or maybe his chest on his mouth when that happened. But can you give us an update on what happened and what you think so far has been the gains and the losses of the protest?
Thank you very much. Luckily enough, I live along Ada George Road in the venue or site of Ekeh's house. And I can tell you with all sense of certainty that nobody invaded Ekeh's house. Ekeh's house was not the house the protesters passed. My own house was also passed, and it was never invaded or vandalized. Nobody's house was vandalized. And to further answer your question, you must understand, and Nigerians must understand, that the protesters in Port Harcourt are protesting with a measure of sympathy in their hearts. Port Harcourt residents and Port Harcourt protesters are overwhelmingly sympathetic to Governor Fubara. That he has had such a horrendous experience for serving his people. So nobody really wished to create any harm or damage or unacceptable situation to warrant violence. Because people, Port Harcourt people, Rivers people are overwhelmingly in sympathy with Governor Fubara. So, to answer your question and to be precise, the protest in Port Harcourt yesterday was very peaceful, and we look forward to a very peaceful protest today, which is within the ambit of the law. The citizens have every right to protest bad governance, and that is just how the situation is right now in Port Harcourt.
Okay, are you protesting, or you are just an onlooker?
No, I am not protesting, and my reason is very obvious. I see these protests as a diversion. It's a decoy. There is something Nigerians should be protesting, which nobody is mentioning, and that is the Nigerian-Morocco gas pipeline. It's a big fraud that Morocco, a North African country, should bulldoze its way into the ECOWAS with the intention of hijacking our resources, our gas resources. It is not acceptable. And if we may take an incursion into our remote history, you remember that this same Morocco in 1591, in the Battle of Tondidi, conquered the Songhai Empire. In the Islamic world, in the Arab world, that conquest marked the conquest of Black Africa by militant Arab expansionism, which did not start today. And in our days, can you justify as an investigative journalist Morocco relationship with West African countries? Why now? When ECOWAS was formed in 1975, Morocco never showed any interest. Then all of a sudden under Buhari, Morocco became a member of ECOWAS and is controlling ECOWAS. And then they initiated in 2016 the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline. That is the real reason we should be protesting against.
Yeah, but
that gas pipeline must never be allowed to exist because it's not to our best interest. The future of human civilization is green energy, clean energy, and you are talking of gas.
Yeah, but again, it's a business venture between Nigeria and Morocco. We're talking
about. It's not a business venture, sir. There is a
according to your analogy,
master on the horizon, and that colonial master is militant Arab expansionism.
Oh, well, I'm sure you have a major issue.
Take over your resources. All this noise about Boko Haram is all about resource quest, because there is no holy war. Count it. Since the days of written civilization, no holy war, no religious war, whether on the side of Islam or Christianity, has ever been fought for the betterment of mankind or glorification of God. It is ways to capture resources, to capture trade routes, to capture gold mines, to capture crude oil. That was what the Biafran War was all about, Nigerian War was all about. To capture today gas resources. So the end bad government protest is a decoy. It's a question of
hold on a second.
Against you.
When
what
you
we
say
should be protesting is that the Nigerian-Morocco gas pipeline should never be allowed to exist. And if you really want to understand what I mean, kindly read my article titled Nigerian-Morocco gas pipeline is imperialist inspired. I published it sometime in the Guardian newspaper and Business Day newspapers.
Chigachi.
Two reputable newspapers this year.
Chigachi, Ekeh.
Yes.
You may have an issue with that particular agreement between Nigeria and Morocco, but
yes.
That is not to say there isn't hunger in Nigeria. There isn't starvation in Nigeria. When
agree.
You say there's a decoy, that the protest is a decoy, are you saying that the government is sponsoring the protests to
government could be sponsoring the protest? That's exactly what I mean. And militant Arab expansionism, because the Islamic Development Bank is funding this 5,600 kilometer gas pipeline. No two ways. They know we have a legitimate case to protest against hunger, against bloated government, against high cost of living, against corruption, against election rigging. Why you are protesting it and you believe in the merits, righteousness of your protest, something more sinister is going on. So let us turn our attention a little bit to other unsaid actualities, and you begin to understand that there is a mass scramble for the resources and minerals and land and territories of Nigeria. Is it by mistake that you hear a terrorist group calling themselves Islamic State West Africa? Is it by mistake? Look at their nomenclature. Is it by mistake that Morocco is a member of ECOWAS? It's not by mistake. Morocco is today controlling our natural resources as well as ECOWAS country. When Tinubu came to power, what happened? The Moroccan king, Hassan Mohammed IV, summoned him to come to Morocco for a meeting. He never came here. Buhari the same thing, except in 2016 when he came down here. So, but in order not to be seen diverting attention from your subject matter, Nigerians have all the right to protest against bad government. But the question is, why now? Why didn't Nigerians protest when Peter Obi was ripped out of his mandate? Why didn't they protest? Why now?
Okay, now when you say government is sponsoring the protest, is it government at the federal or state level? Because even the government of the day is saying that they have identified some big wigs in the north and some people internationally who are sponsoring the protest.
What do you expect the government to say? It's a clueless government. To say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government is illegitimate is not to say that Yoruba people are illegitimate. We love Yoruba people. They are our brothers. They are very hospitable. They have accommodated us. But look at where we are today. A man just to satisfy his whim of being Nigerian president. He's sick. I've always said it. Challenge me. You don't insult your elder in African culture. And to say that our father is sick is not to insult him. The Yoruba people could have, as well, if they so desire the presidency, feed Osibanjo. He has got experience. Feed Fashola. If you don't want an Igbo man to be elected the president of Nigeria, but certainly not Bola Tinubu. He is sick. He's a Parkinson's disease patient. We all know.
Well, I'm so sorry. We do not have that information. I mean,
but I do. You are hearing it from me.
But we can't confirm that.
Do you have facts? Identity. You have my authentic picture. You have my authentic phone number.
Sir. What we are asking, do you have facts? As in, do you have like videos?
Let him publish his medical record. is occupying public. I'm not talking of a private citizen. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about somebody who is the president and taking policies,
So,
and why the naira is
why we're
depreciating.
asking,
there is hunger in the land. There is corruption.
Mr.
Your
Chigachi.
president is not supposed to be seen with Giba Chagori.
Mr.
It's not
Chigachi,
supposed to be
Mr.
seen.
Chigachi,
Right now, the impression is that Nigeria is a captured state at the behest and mercy of Lebanese.
Mr. Chigachi,
We are not talking about people's private estate. Please, we are talking about this country. We have no country except Nigeria. And you must be very frank and forthright in the defense of Nigeria.
Okay.
I love this country.
Mr. Ekeh.
I'm an Igbo man that I do not deserve their friend.
Mr. Ekeh, we understand that, yes, of a truth, one has to be upright in whatever they're doing. Now, when we're asking if you have facts, yes, because you said you have publications, those things could be seen as alleged publication. Now we are asking, do you have videos to prove what you said? Do you have voice notes?
Look,
do you have facts? Do you have pictures? I'm coming, sir. Do you have pictures to back your statements? Because it's...
Tell your president, tell him to publish his medical record or subject it to public scrutiny. He's occupying public office. We are not talking about his private estate. We are talking about the only country you and I have under the sun. He is sick. He's not supposed to be the president of this country. He's a patient.
But as it stands, he is the president of Nigeria, and we're talking about protests.
That is why we should get the best.
So
look at what is going on.
Do you have the public? Do you have his medical record?
Let him publish it.
No, it's not like.
The best way to
if he hasn't published it, you that is making and putting out the statement, do you have it? Because we've deviated so much from what we are talking about is hunger and hardship protest. Because I was just about to ask you that you should like somewhat summarize in a nutshell the costs and gains of this protest. Some might disagree that we haven't had any gains, you know, but what have we learned? What has the government learned from this protest?
Well, that is for them to answer. That the protest is legitimate and let it go on. That there should be no destruction of lives and property, because hardship is so much on ordinary Nigerians, including me. Where are we to go? From Enugu, where you are, right? You are at Enugu, right?
Yes.
To Port Harcourt. Do you see any plantation? Any plantation like citrus plantation, banana plantation? Do you see such cassava plantation? There is nothing like that. But it was captured in the 2014 National Conference that there should be such thing like farm settlements for better food production.
Okay.
You cannot be talking about hardship without any solution. The solution is that
Mr. Chigachi,
Ekeh, that conference 2014 conference report.
Yes.
And you implement it at 3 levels.
Okay, Mr. Ekeh. Maybe some other time we might have to have you to discuss in details with facts, obviously, and of every statement you're making as well, and also hear your contributions, because you're a Nigerian, and for that every of your contribution is important. Thank you so much for your contribution. We thank you again, Chigachi Ekeh.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna go for not just a break now, but Internet Watch. One of the things